Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much, hostess with the mostest, and thanks, my love, for your pennies and your nickels. We really appreciate it.
Oh,
Unlimited Wisdom family, I love you. I love you. Hi, Michael and Angela. Hi, Dustin, Donald, Matthew, Ezra, and Hannah. Hi, Star, Melody, Eric, Lisa Marie, Sandy, Mike and Trish, and Bill Shoemaker. So, what we're going to do is this is really good. You guys know that I do one-on-ones. If you guys don't know that, you can look in the classroom. And every time I do a one-on-one, I know some of you might think this sounds weird, but I don't care. But, I just really let go and surrender. I just very simply say, Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, give me the words to say to this individual and talk through me to get her the message. And Sarah Lipscomb, I did a one-on-one with her yesterday. And I'm going to dedicate this to her because just like Bill and Lisa Marie and some of the people, Sandy, that I've done one-on-ones with, I always find something that I know could go to the rest of the group. And I know you guys are going to love this. So that's what I'm going to dedicate it to. So the first thing I want you to think before, first of all, you can do anything. All things are possible through those that believe. But one of the things I want each and every one of you to sort of think about this is, what do you do? What do you currently do that you don't need to ask anybody how to do it? If you need some help, how about going to the bathroom?
doing the dishes.
All right. Any one of you, before you go to the bathroom, reach up, pick up the phone, send Bill Shoemaker a message. Hey, Bill, I'm about ready to go to the bathroom. I need some information. I need your help. I need something, right? And the reason that I bring this up is for those of you that don't know Sarah, she is just a sweetheart. And she was or still is a professional dancer. She's been a professional dancer her whole entire life, and she's also an actress. So she's done a lot of plays and a lot of stuff that does with acting. So still to this day, Sarah's got a group of people that she gets together, and even though she's in her, I believe, let's just say that she's up there. She still, on a weekly basis, goes and dances.
That's why
And she's really, really, really good at it. And so I said to her, because just like everybody else, I said, so when you first started to learn how to dance, I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, I said, how good are you? And she said 10. She just I used to support myself. Hi, Mary. Hi, Scott. Thanks for jumping on. And one of the things that I said to her is, I said, so you don't have to call anybody to ask them what to do when you dance. Hey, Esther, great to see you. Woohoo! And one of the things that's, everyone, welcome Esther. We get a new person here, and also one of those people that are going to go to diamond and platinum. She's gonna crush it. And one of the things is that every one of you, there's something that you do. I love that Bill put drive, right? Maybe some people are good at cooking. I am not, right? I've never ever taken the time to get good at cooking. So when someone says, "Are you a good cook?" Guess what my answer is? No, I'm not a good cook. How many of you believe that if I wanted to learn to cook, I could? See, isn't that crazy? So every one of you, hi Deborah, thanks for jumping on. So every one of you, there's something that you do that at one time you wasn't sure if you could do it. When you started to do it, you sucked at it. And you kept doing it till you got good at it. Are you following me? And so when you really look at life, you look at all these things that you're confident in yourself. For those of you that are believers, you're confident in God. You're confident in your abilities, and you don't have to think about it. And, there's these four learning things that I've talked about in my whole life. And I remember this like yesterday when my mentor taught him to me. And there's this first place where you're unconscious incompetent, you know, and this is what, you don't know that you don't know. There's a lot of people on the planet, you guys, that don't know about glutathione. They don't know about immunical. They don't know that if you find something that's that great that you could share it with other people, improve their health, and never work for anybody ever again. So you just don't know that you don't know. And that's the way I was when I got introduced to this business 39 years ago. I did not know what network marketing was. I knew one thing, that I was ignorant and I thought it was sales. Some people still do, and that's why they suck, right? Is that my mentality, really simple, was I don't like sales. And he very simply asked me, why don't you like sales? And I go, because I believe it's somebody that uses their manipulation to get people to buy stuff that they can't afford. That's my feeling about sales, because I was a mechanic. So I was a mechanic and I constantly seen people get sold vehicles that they couldn't afford, right? And then they had to bring them back. And it's like they just bought the vehicle and these people show up on Judge Judy. You know what I mean? I just bought this vehicle. As soon as I took it home, it doesn't work. So now you're on Judge Judy. Hi, Shelley. Hi, Gordon. And one of the things that I want each and every one of you to know is that when you really look at the things that you know that you can do, that getting to this part where it sucks is not fun. It's not comfortable. And so now you're aware of it, but still you're not good at it. And that's where a lot of you are right now, in building a large organization that makes you six figures a year. Can any of you imagine making six figures a year? Can you imagine making 250,000 a year? See, some of you don't need that money. But how many of you wouldn't mind, making $8,300 a month? See, because I knew exactly what six figures was. And I remember $100,000 divided by 12, $8,333. I knew exactly what I needed to hit. And so the uniqueness of that is now you're going out and trying it. But now as you try it, you don't do it because you're too busy thinking. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? What do I say to this person? What do I say to that person? How do I send a link? What if they say this? What if they say that? A lot of people won't move forward because they're worried about people asking questions. And so in the one-on-one that I did with Sarah, we just really broke it down. And I just said, usually the thing that you're thinking that you should say is not what you should say, because you're coming from your head instead of your heart. And so again, for me, if you just would be quiet and come from your heart, then what you could do is say things that you wouldn't normally say, that sort of brings you down to your uniqueness. It also brings you down to the core of who you are. It comes down to being humble. See, that's why people don't do anything, because when they think about what to say, they know in their heart it sounds like they're selling somebody, that they're trying to convince somebody. So that's when you're conscious of what it is, but you still suck at it, right? And let me give you an example. So me and Sarah were going through some people where she said, I got a lot of people that are dancers. Craig knows this, Deborah. Grady knows this. Most of the people that are in the arts, actors, singers, performers, they know that they can do it. They just can't support themselves for doing it. It's like this little crazy thing that everyone knows, that as you're moving your way up, through being an actor or a singer. You know what I mean? Any kind of arts or performance, that a majority of the people do not make any money. But we always hear about the people that do, right? We always hear about the people that are making $30 million a film. We hear about those people. So that's why people keep trying. And so she says, I know a lot of people that are dancing and they would like to dance more, but what do you say to them? And I said, listen, what if you just did this? So listen, everyone, really close. I said, what if you went up to some of the dancers or one or two and go, listen, I need your help with something. And they looked at you and went, what? And I go, I have something I'm really excited about, but I'm extremely nervous because I don't want to say it wrong to you.
I know.
How many of you guys know that human nature, most people, I would say 99% of the people, when you say something like, well, I'm nervous and I'm scared to say something wrong and I don't want to mess this up and I don't know what to say. How many of you guys know people that immediately you just pick them up? You go, Trish, no problem. You know what I mean? I'll help you. I just need you to know there's nothing that you could say to offend me. So just do your best. And she said, I never thought of that. Yeah? Because did you hear the words? I never thought of that. Because it's coming from your freaking head, not your heart. How many of you are scared to do a Facebook Live? Okay? This is how you do a Facebook Live. You jump on and go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm doing it because I challenged myself or my mentor told me to do this. And I know it's going to really, really suck, but I'm going to do it anyway. Do you know everyone that would jump on would go, oh my God, you're doing awesome. I've always been scared to do this. I can't believe you're doing this. You're doing awesome. Because you're not going on there thinking, you're just doing it from your heart. So I said, if you said to these girls, well, listen, the reason I'm excited is because I found a product that I'm using and I don't even know how to properly explain it. But since I've been on the product, I felt this and I got rid of aches and pains and I recover faster. And I tried it because there's all these testimonials and documentation, but I'm scared I'm going to say something wrong. And I know each and every one of you, if you knew what I knew, you'd be using the product. But I'm scared of goofing up. So what would be the best way for me to share this with you? And every one of them would go, is it got a video? Do they have people talking about it? Do you have some of the testimonials? See, you're allowing them to help you, tell you how to share it with them. Terry's got I'm so proud of her, but Terry's got a best friend that she has forever, and she's a nurse. And I just told her, I said, listen, when you reach out to Jolie, go, hey, Jolie, listen, I have something I'd like to share with you, but are you the kind of person that would like to see personal testimonials about the product? Or would you be more impressed with the, that it has patents or scientific clinical stuff? Or would you be impressed that it's in the, physician's desk reference or that athletes are using it? What would impress you? In fact, I got a video of a doctor educating doctors. If you needed to know something about a product that you were going to try, what would you like to see? Do you guys realize that anything she said is good? Well, I would just like to see the testimonials first. I would just like to see a scientific report first. I'd like to see the doctor thing. So when I was helping Jolie do an order yesterday, Terry's going, listen, Jolie's trying to put it together and do an order. And I said, hi, Jolie, I love you. How's everything going? And I go, great. And I said, man, out of 39 years, I've never marketed a product that was this documented. I mean, we actually have a doctor educating doctors on it. And Jolie goes, I know. Terry sent it to me.
I, this is how it went. She's been sick. She's got all of a sudden all these things are happening to her. And so usually we have lunch either on Friday or Saturday. So we had lunch on Saturday. She came and picked me up. So I put some samples in a bag for her and got in the car and I said, these are for you. She goes, oh yeah, I tried to do an order. Listen, I never send her a link. I don't know where she got the link. I have no idea. I said, well, let's figure it out because she said, this is the screen that I got. So we had lunch and everything and came home and she said, I said, well, get in touch with us because you have to do a different email address because you were an MDC before and bought products. So we'll have to get you a different email address. That's how it happened. I mean, I didn't talk. She asked me at our previous lunch, how's the new business going? And I said, it's okay. And because she had all these health problems. So she was telling me she was in the hospital when I was in California with Ezra and Matt and Hannah and stuff. So yesterday she called and we got her all set up and she ordered product. And then she sent me a picture because she had taken some of the stuff that I'd given her, you know. And yeah, so that's how it went with her. My sister seen me do a post, one of my first posts, because she's got MS, and said, hey, when I get back from Oregon, I'll reach out to you. Perfect. So last Tuesday she reached out after this thing that we did last Tuesday. I ran over there. She did an order and I'm going to reach out to her today and see if she got her stuff. But, you know, and then other people, I'm not even going to go into it, but, you know, but yeah,
I'm going to talk about that.
That's so super easy. Other people are like a real.
Yeah. So I know that when most people feel, listen closely, they feel like you're trying to get them to do something, they just automatically rebel just for the hell of it. So when you're sharing with people, if you don't come from your heart and you don't find the way to listen on what to say, and you just send people a bunch of links, they'll immediately just say, no, I'm already in something. I'm already using this product. You know, this doesn't sound interesting to me. Because what you did is you just asked them instead of coming from your heart and just building a little bit of a connection first.
The Penny Kyle thing, she commented on one of my posts, info.
Right.
So
yeah.
Send her info.
Well,
and she tries to tell me how great Melaleuca was. I'm like,
yeah. But so like you guys know, if you guys have heard me do this training before, there's things that you do every day. Hi, Jane's driving, right? And there's things that we do every day, and I even made this up before, where people, when you see someone driving for the first time, of course, we homeschooled my two younger sons, and so I taught them how to drive. And so, you know, it's like they needed, 40 hours of driving and 10 hours of night driving. Okay. And what I did with them is, as I showed them how to drive and they just kept getting better and better, it's like, at first, you guys all know, if you've ever seen someone drive, it's like they don't even want to take their hands off the steering wheel because they're so scared. You know what I mean? They got it at 10 and 2, like, Coach Bob, you're white knuckling it, right? And you're like, okay, so, now do this. And it's like, I don't want to do anything. I don't know where the, the blinker is. I don't know where this is. And then you get to the last part, and now you're unconscious competent. And this is how a lot of people that drive now, where you can drive with your knees. You can actually, have a donut and a cup of coffee while you're steering with your knees. And it's like, here's when you know you're really unconscious competent. You ready? Have any one of you drove someplace and when you got there, you don't know how you got there? That's I got chills. You know what I mean? That's when you're like going, holy crap, I wasn't even thinking about driving and I just got here. Okay, so do some of you do other things like that? Okay, just being crazy here, but we got a little grandson named Ezra. And one of the things is, when you got a brand new child or a brand new grandchild, watching them learn to do the basics like setting up.
He's doing amazing, by the way.
Yeah, watching them walk, right? Watching them how they learn to eat. And isn't this amazing? Learning how to talk. And we all do this stuff unconscious competent because one, we were patient with ourselves, and the people around us that taught us were patient. Right? And so you got this in you. And learning to connect with total strangers is right now conscious and competent for you guys. And you would rather do anything. Listen to me. You would rather do anything than reach out to someone that you don't know. And so you do. Jim Rohn says it best. This is easy, but it's easier not to. So my question for each and every one of you is there are things that you don't need to ask questions about. There are things that you don't even have to think about, and you do. Right? So when me and Sarah was talking, I was telling people that Terry has the consciousness where when me and her met, she told me all I want to do is be a mom and raise my kids. So her attitude was so correct. She was still unconscious and competent. But when she has a baby, like a lot of you know that have had children, it's like you don't know what to do, but you sure in the hell figure it out.
Yep, they handed me Matt after and I said, Mel, what do I do with him?
And it's like watching Matt and Hannah right now figure out, when is he going to sleep? When is he not going to sleep? When is he fussy? You know what I mean? When does he want to eat? When has he got a dirty diaper? And it's like you do that stuff because you have to. Well, what if you could have that same mentality of quitting all your jobs, right? Retiring someone that you love. Figure out what it is, and if you just make the attempt to get good at it, you're going to get gooder and gooder and gooder and gooder. But you're not going to by avoiding it. Right? So let me give you a couple other examples, and I don't mind if you guys give me your hardest one. I haven't done a video like this in a long time. So I asked Sarah, I said, who else would you like to talk to? She said, well, I'd like to share this stuff with my family because I think they really need it. A lot of people in my family they don't have very good health issues, right? And I said, so what would stop you from talking to them? I know this has never been right for you guys. She said, well, I've shared other things with my family before. All right. And it didn't go very well. So great. Now what you do is instead of coming from the thoughts, come from the heart. So I said to her, what if you called one of your sisters and this is the way you started out the conversation? Let's say it's Melody. And you go, hi, Melody, do you got a minute? Sure. Get through the connection, how's the family? How's this? How's that? And then say, Melody, the reason that I called is I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. And just pause. And of course, the person that you're calling is going to forgive you for what? What did you do? And you go, well, I know you know me, and I'm one of those dreamers. And I get really, really excited about not only helping people, but, one day not having to worry about money ever again. So when I get around people that are super excited and they also, show me that they're doing well financially and they've helped people, I get really, really excited. And then I call you. And I just want you to find it in your heart to forgive me because I get so excited and I just reach out to you and I know I've gotten you in a couple of things or, this didn't work out or this didn't work out. And I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. Everyone here, how would you handle that? Me, I would handle it like this. Listen, I know who you are. You don't have to apologize to me. I'm a grown ass adult. I looked at it, I made the decision to do it, and I need to be honest with you. What? I know I was told to do certain things like plug in and watch the training and also reach out to people and use the product as directed. And to be brutally honest with you, I didn't do any of that stuff. So I feel the reason I didn't get results at it is because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So if you just said that and that was the end of the conversation, how many of you think that you could call every family member you knew, every friend that you knew, just to reach out and come from the heart and apologize? Some of you got an ego, edging got out, and you're like, no, they need to apologize to me. I ain't calling anybody, right? But I'm just sharing with you when you come from your heart and you do that. Now, after that part of the conversation, you giggle and stuff about it. You could say, well, listen, the reason I apologize to you is because, like I said before, you know me and I'm excited again. And would you give me permission? Would you give me permission to send you some information? That's all you got to say. Don't try to pitch them. Don't try to tell them all the stuff. Don't try to go into, your throwing up stage that you normally do, seeing how many pieces of information you can get out, how fast. Don't write them a couple of chapters of a book, with 14 links in it. You know what I mean? It's piquing interest. You share one thing, a couple of things with them, and then see how they respond to that. So I'll give you one last story that I always love telling because I want you guys to challenge me. All right? So I did this live before the internet, before cell phones, and I was in Detroit working with some top people there. And I said, who knows somebody that for a fact they would bet money that there's no way that I could get a minute of their time? They're just you look in Wikipedia and under asshole, there are pictures there. You know what I mean? It's just, who do you know like that? And I'll never forget, this guy ended up being my #1 producer. And it was this kid named Rick Velger. He raised his hand. And just to give you a little feedback from him, at the time that I met him, his father and his uncle owned Velger Marinas, the largest marinas on the Great Lakes in Michigan. So his dad and his uncle, part of the yacht club. I don't know, maybe they built it. It was like just nuts, the history, right? And he goes, my uncle. And I said, okay, so we had a speakerphone in front of all these people. And I said, give me his number. And I called the number. And as soon as I called the number, oh, by the way, I bet him $50. I said, what do you want to bet? And he said $50. I said, awesome. And as soon as I dialed the number on speakerphone, this is the way his uncle answered the phone. Who the hell is this? How many of you know you're in trouble already? Right? It's like, who the hell is this? And I said, listen, I'm with your nephew, Rick. My name is Robert. And his response was, so what? I'm here with your nephew. And his answer is like, so what? And I said, listen, I bet your nephew $50, and I'm willing to split it with you, that he told me that I couldn't get a minute of your time. So if you'll give me a minute of your time, I'll split the money with you. And he goes, go. So I was really brief. We're a strong company, blah, 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 blah. And I would like to be able to set up a time where I could talk to you one-on-one. And he's going, Rick knows where I live. I'm here all the time. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Bring the money. And then hung up the phone. So each and every one of you, you haven't contacted the people, and listen to this. I mean, it's Joseph Campbell. Craig, I'll need your help with the exact quote. But Joseph Campbell, the guy that wrote the book The Hero's Journey, and we see all this stuff about the hero's journey, which every film is based on. And he said the thing that you're scared the most of. The thing that you're scared the most of, if you would just do that, the rest of your life will open up in a miracle. So you need to find the thing that scares you the most. And for this, there might be a person that every time you think about it, whether you're involved in other companies before MDC, whether you're involved in a few companies while you're with MDC, now you're involved in Immunotech or you're doing something else. And there's always these people that come to your mind that you're just trying to consistently think in your head the right way you're going to approach them. And this is usually what you're holding off from. You're saying, as soon as I get a rank, as soon as I get a check, as soon as I get an impressive check, then I'm going after these people. And here's what I'm telling you. You ready? When you reach out to those people, then you'll get the check. It's not whether or not they get in, but Terry can contest to this. When I got involved in this industry, was there anyone that I was scared to talk to? No. See, when people tell you they don't give a shit about what other people think about them, you know they're lying to themselves and others, because there's people that they know that they haven't connected. Because you are scared of what they think. You are scared what they respond. And so it's usually three groups of people, right? There's people in your mind, not your heart. There's people in your mind that you believe that you're better than. So these are the easiest people to talk to, right? Because you call them up and you say, hey, are you open, or would you do me a huge favor? Do you know anyone that would be open to this? And they go, listen, is this a pyramid thing? I'm not interested. And your first thought is, well, you're a freaking idiot anyway, so I don't care. See what I mean? It's like you guys all have that group that you reach out to first when they tell you, your broke ex-brother-in-law, you know what I mean, that's been on unemployment forever. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't care. Then there's this other group that you have that you consider what it would be called your peers. So you still think you're better than them, but they sort of sit on the same kind of level as you do, right? Now, if these people tell you no, or they tell you it's stupid, because the thing that I was going to bring up with what Terry said is, Terry's reached out to some people and they come back, and I have too. And they come back, well, I'm doing the glutathione patch, or I'm doing the glutathione pill, or liquid form, or I do glutathione IVs, right? We now know by listening to the last interview that they're
wasting their money.
Yeah, well, they're not wasting their money, but it's like CBD. I actually, sold CBD for a few years, right? And we all know that when the boom happened, that people were marketing just straight out garbage. So I had a news report from LA that they went to 10 different dispensaries, got 10 different CBDs, took them to an independent lab, and not one of them had what they said in the bottle. 10 for 10 were bad. But not only were they bad, one of them was contaminated. And they actually said that if a person used that had a bad immune system, that it would have probably killed them. But see, I know this information, but now trying to tell somebody else that they're not using good CBD, they immediately feel like you're trying to twist their arm or you're trying to sell them. So what do you think that I did? I sent people that video. See, so, a person, if they wanted to, could look at that last interview that Dr. Gutman did and take a small clip out of that video where he says, listen, a lot of companies are saying that if you add it with lupulapalap,
and some Tic Tacs.
Yeah, that it gets through the digestive system and goes into your blood, but it's temporary. You know what I mean? That's not what we're doing here. We're using a precursor, you know what I mean, to help your body build your immune. Where did you get the video? In my playlist that I sent you, Esther. Okay. If you ask for it afterwards, I'll send it to you. But it was the last interview that Mandy and Mary Beth did with Dr. Gutman. All right. And so, Craig, if you know where to find it, maybe you can post it. But I would go through that video, and how many people know this? When I have a video on YouTube and you share that individual video, do you guys know that you can set it exactly at the time that you want them to watch it? So when you click share, you'll notice that there's a little box there, and you can get it exactly to where he starts talking about that. Click that box, and now when you send the link from the YouTube video, it will start exactly there. But I was taught from the time that I've been in this industry that if I use third-party documentation, that's them listening to it instead of me telling them. So any one of you that continue to just go back and forth with someone that tells you no, all you're doing is you're trying to convince and sell someone that thinks they're better than you.
I did that this morning.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
No, but I'm telling you that if you just went with your heart and looked at them and went on a scale to 1 to 10 as the person that I'm connected with, do they believe that they're better than me? And if they do, you trying to convince them on them even telling you things they don't know. Have you guys ever met a professional bullshitter? My God, there's people that have now created their whole political career and now worth hundreds of millions of dollars by just consistently lying. They don't even know when they're telling the truth. And because no one will check on them, it doesn't matter. And people go, why would they listen to that person? They can lie with confidence. All right? There's an episode I'll have to find. I'm not going to find it. I'll just tell you about it. But Terry and I used to watch this thing with Penn and Teller, and it's called Bullshit. All right? It's called Bullshit. And what's funny is one episode that's super sad. And let me tell you, you don't have to raise your hand if this has ever happened to you, but it's happened to me. So I'll tell you how, right? But the worst kind of bullshitters are people that listen to bullshitters, but because of their heart, they believe the bullshit, right? So if someone knows they made up a story, are you following me? And they're using it to manipulate you or get you to do whatever they want to. Sometimes we as human beings would believe that we would know someone was lying to us. that someone was bullshitting and making stuff up. But I'm not perfect, and I've had a lot of people take advantage of me. Just because you make money doesn't make you, Terry and I have lost a lot of money from people that were just better bullshitters. We thought that we would know who they were and that we wouldn't fall into that. And no, we got taken advantage of more than one time, many, many, many times. So you just trust people, right? But the worst bullshitters are the people that listen to the person that was full of bullshit. And when they hear it, they come from their heart. So now they're telling you a story, but they believe the bullshit. They really, truly believe, and they're passionate. They're enthusiastic about it. They might even be emotional as they're telling it. And you're going like, oh my God, this is true. See, it's always the second and the third level of telephone where we get these people that are like, no, I heard from Jim Joe Bob that there's no better product on the planet than this product. But then they're going around telling everyone this. And we always hear the one, we're the fastest growing company.
We're the number one wellness.
Yeah, you don't even know all the other companies. You see what I mean? It's like, this company pays out more than any other company. It's got the best comp plan. You always can tell the hype because the stuff that they're saying is impossible to know. Are you guys following me? And so, that's the person that when they're hearing in their excitement, now all of a sudden you listen to this person, you're going, so how could you convince them of what they're saying is not true? You can't. Because if you share them a third-party video or anything that would document what they're doing is wrong, they won't admit they're wrong. So now I'm being very vulnerable here. There's been conversations that I've had that have turned into debates, that have turned into emotional arguments. And in the midst of being in it, the person I'm talking to says something that makes me realize that they're right and I'm wrong. So then what I do is I tell them I misunderstood what they said and I'm talking about another subject. Do you know people? Do you know people as you're arguing with them and you start getting through to them, they skip to another subject and talk about that. Well, I thought you were talking about this, or I thought you were talking about this. And because they won't say, wow, I'm wrong. No, they just keep bullshitting. And then they change to this subject, and then they change to this subject. Have you guys seen any politicians do this? Every one of them. It's like, listen, can you stay on topic? Stay on topic. But no, as soon as you pin their back to it, then they turn around and they bring up something else that has nothing to do with the subject, right? And that's what people do when they're too convinced. So you can say, listen, let me share a video with you that shows why. See, I would never tell anyone that they're on the wrong product. I would just say, there's a phrase that my mentor taught me. And it's like, wow, thank you for sharing that with me. Step one is to acknowledge what they're saying is fact. Pat them on the back. That doesn't mean you're lying to them. You're just acknowledging what they know is true. You go, wow, I'm one of those people that I didn't even know what glutathione was 2 months ago. So for you to know about it, and now you're doing something to raise your glutathione levels, man, I congratulations. You're one of very few people that actually heard of it and doing something with it. And you know what? I didn't know anything about it as well. But now that I'm getting educated, have you ever heard of this doctor, Dr. Gutman? No. Did you know that he's written 3 best-selling books? No. Do you know that he's got a website called glutathione.org? No. I'm going to continue to educate myself. And when I did, now that I know the importance of glutathione, I thought it was best for me to find the product that would be the best. So you let me know when you want to check that things out. Did you catch that? And it's like, I'm not telling them, listen, yours suck. A lot of people did that with CBD. Well, I found another place where I'm buying CBD. Your CBD sucks.
It's called that
You know what I mean? And people do the same thing with the opportunity. Have you guys ever noticed that? People do the same thing. It's like, well, is this an illegal pyramid? And see, you heard somebody. So you go, well, you're in a pyramid. Do you got a job? Yeah. Is there more bosses than employees? No. Listen, you're in a pyramid right now, you idiot. You go to church? Yeah, that's a pyramid. See, that doesn't help you get a customer or a consultant. So there's this phrase, that you just say, I acknowledge where you are and congratulations. Man, at least when I talk to people that are involved in other opportunities, I go, wow, since I decided to do something other than a job to earn income, do you know how proud you should be of yourself at attempting something as an entrepreneur? You should really be proud of yourself. Aw, thank you. Because I've done the same thing. But you know what I've found? What? I found better than the company and the product or the comp plan is actually learning from someone that will show you their income. What do you mean? Well, there's a lot of people that say they know how to do this business, but do we know they're really making money or not? So I've gone through a few companies and not done very well. And when I found out that it would be better to learn how to do this business through a mentor, I thought I'd rather learn how to do it, then I can find the company. But you know what I found? What? The people that you find that are willing to show you their income that are documented, they've already had the 39 years of experience to find the right companies at the right time. So you can continue to work with them. I never thought about that.
Mind your business.
Terry's watch is talking to her. All right. So I said, and so does anyone have a person that you would like to reach out to that you feel that would be challenging that I could help you? Sandy, I just seen my pastor said that once. Yeah. Do you want to tell me that? Sorry, Craig.
Oh, my pastor, he was talking about pyramid schemes, and he said
Yeah.
that church is like a pyramid scheme. He
Yeah.
said that right in one of his things. But I do have somebody.
Cool.
It's my doctor friend.
Your doctor friend.
Yeah.
Tessa?
Yeah.
Not Tessa, her husband.
Okay. So you're asking me the proper way to approach that?
Yeah. Because I know he thinks he's better than me. He thinks he's better.
Every doctor, you know my joke on doctors, right?
Uh-uh.
The joke with doctors is, you know what the difference between a doctor and God is? Is
Oh.
God doesn't think he's a doctor.
Right. Gotcha. I remember that now. Yeah.
They got a degree, they're a doctor, and they know more than everybody else. So the way you should go to him, and the way I always conduct myself around all professionals, is again, stroke their ego. All right. So if you said to him, like, hey, call him up and say, you got a minute, or you're around him and say, listen, can I ask you a couple of questions? And they go, well, yeah, sure. The very first thing that you should say is, I know I've never personally told you this, but to be able to get a degree and be a doctor and have a successful practice, I don't think I've ever told you how impressive that is. And I've always thought that way about you.
Okay.
Now, would that be a lie?
No.
No.
coming from the poorest county in Michigan. No, that's very impressive.
So then and you go, well, thank you very much, and you go, listen, I personally have just got introduced to a product that's in the physician's desk reference, but I don't even know what the hell that is. Do you utilize that at all?
Okay.
See what I mean? So you come to him as a person that would look at it to evaluate it for the little old poor you.
Gotcha. Okay.
See, when you're asking them for their expertise, to go, they're saying all this scientific documentation and gold studies and stuff. This is all language I don't know anything about. And they even have scientists and doctors that have done interviews about the company and the product. I just don't want to be using a product or telling other people to use it if it's not good.
Okay.
What kind of information should I send you? And this is the funniest part all the time. I'm willing to pay you for your time. That's how important it is to me. Ah, fuck you. You're not. Yeah, but they're always thinking about their time. But if you say to them, I'm willing to pay you for your time, they turn around, look at that as a compliment and go, no, I don't need anything. Human beings are so freaking hilarious. But you got to do what is called child psychology. You just have to say to them stuff that pumps them up. So everyone I talked to, I was going like, man, I'm impressed. You got a degree?
Okay. That helps. So I did reach out to two different doctors yesterday, and I reached out to their clinics. So if I don't hear back from them, I'm actually going to call their clinic.
Bingo. Bingo.
So
And see, because here's the problem with even sharing with them, because eventually if they said, well, I would like to see the scientific documentation on it. Normally, instead of telling them about it, they'll say to you, they'll go, does it, well, they've gotten gold standards. For those of you that don't know what gold standards is, I looked it up. Gold standards means that the product was blind tested on human beings. So a lot of testing is not done on human beings. So do a blind study where you have a placebo to half and the real product to other, and it's actually clinically done on humans. It's called a gold study. And I think we got like 29 of them. So you wouldn't try to educate him on that. And they go, yeah, I guess they got gold studies, clinical studies. And see, right away, his mind's going to go, what? But I wouldn't even know how to read them. It's got all this.
that helps.
It's got all this doctor knowledge in it. See?
Yeah, and that's exactly how he is. We grew up. Well, I moved there when I was 16. He grew up there his whole life, and it's the poorest county in Michigan. And then he went on to Michigan State, and now he's living down in Atlanta. And now he's on this TV show, and I'm like, he scares me. He terrifies me just because of who he is. But
Yeah.
and I think it's stupid because in high school we were friends, but now he terrifies me.
Yeah, and it's only because that you believe that he is going to say something or think that you're stupid.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
Okay.
So what if the way not to be scared of him is that you don't pretend that you know what he knows?
Okay. I can do that.
See? So a lot of people, what they do is they're just not humble. They're not authentic. So if you thought in your mind, no matter what he asked you, you would do the giggle with the hair toss. You know what that's from, right? Terry, what's it from?
I think it was a movie about last night. It's a
Demi Moore and
yeah, it's an old movie.
what do
from
you
the
think? You
80s.
Dan were bowling partners?
I think it's called About Last Night. Absolutely love it. Rob Lowe and Demi Moore.
Oh, with Rob Lowe?
Uh-huh. Yeah, About Last Night. I think
But
it was.
but they seen a couple of girls flirting with these guys, and one of the girls went, "I think it's about time for the giggle with the Hair flip with a giggle.
Tessa would kick my ass. No.
But people are always scared, again, using their mind, that someone's going to confront them with a question that makes them look stupid. And then when they look stupid, they need to evaluate who they are and what they're doing. Why couldn't you just come from a humble spot like I would and go, I'm dyslexic and I'm an auto mechanic. This person probably knows a lot of shit that I don't. So I need to play that person. And I think I shared with you and some of you in other other videos, that when I started getting successful really fast in this industry, there was a whole group of people that would corner me after I walked off stage and went, you need to cut the stupid auto mechanic from Montana shit. Because you're a national marketing director and you're making tens of thousands of dollars a month, and you keep going off on this, oh, shucks, I'm just an auto mechanic. And I told him, I said, that, ah, shucks, I'm just an auto mechanic. You need to get the information from the mentor, is what made me the money, stupid. You want to be the ego person that knows everything. You want to know the comp plan, the ingredients. You want to know everything. I don't want to know anything. I want to point, guide, and direct them to the source of the information. So I'm not going to change who I am, right? I'd rather point someone to information than regurgitate the information. Because that's when you'll see that they become competitive. We all have this competitive nature. And as soon as you try to share with me, Sandy, that you believe that you know more than me, just think about anybody that's ever done that to you. Has anyone ever said something to you that you knew for a fact it was bullshit?
Yes.
How do you react?
I just whatever and walk away.
Do you think they can see it in your face?
Oh, most definitely, because I talk with my face.
Yeah, totally. So people say something, and my joke all the time would be when I went to car shows or I was around a bunch of people that were around cars, and they would be describing what their motor was. And the shit that they were saying was just totally I got a 4x4 Holly carburetor, 690 Holly carburetor with a 3/4 cam. And it depends on, just like now, it depends on my mood, but I would go 3/4 cam. Does that mean that you're missing 4 of the lobes? Because there is no such thing as 3/4 cam. But they heard it someplace, so they're regurgitating, just like everything in life. You know what I mean? It's like people, like that joke that you see on the internet now, because we have it, is the people that used to be Ukrainian experts are now Venezuelan experts. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell? I'll look at, you're an expert in everything. You're a COVID expert at one time.
Okay. That helps.
So thank you, Sandy. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Anybody else? Have someone individually that you think that I could help you say something to? I'm just telling you guys, if you come from a place that you don't know, because how many of you, if you've ever heard me say this, since no one raised their hand, do you know that I constantly come from a place that I know that I know that I don't know? If you come from that place of, whether I'm talking about religion, whether I'm talking about science, whether I'm talking about whatever, I can pretty much kick anyone's ass because I come from a place that I don't know. So now I only have to do one thing, is get you to figure out that you don't know. Because I'm not trying to prove my point. I'm just trying to get you to figure out that what you're sharing with me right now is bullshit. Mike, you rose your hand? Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Before
actually,
you say anything,
yeah,
how's your shoulder doing?
my shoulders from
Yeah,
carrying this weight.
because you're always pointing at her. I just thought maybe your shoulder was sore. No matter what
Yeah,
I
it
said,
was
you're
acting up.
Thank
It
you.
was acting up a little bit.
Oh,
Oh shoot.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
So anyway, I just recently, well, I've known this guy for a while, and it's actually Trisha's brother.
Okay.
And so we were talking to him on, well, she was talking to him on the phone the other night, and of all people, he's had cancer. And
Wow.
so she's tries to talk to him about anything. And he said, if my doctor doesn't tell me, then I'm not interested.
Perfect.
And I'm like, is he really a doctor or is he your drug dealer?
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
I will, because I'm going to start with a new doctor the first of the month, and because the one that I have right now she wants to keep giving me drugs. I don't want the drugs. I want to get
Right.
off of all that crap. I'm down to 3. I got rid of 3. Now I'm down to 3 more, and hopefully within the next 3 months I'll be done with all of those.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
So it's like, okay, and I'm going to ask this new doctor, I'm going to say, are you a doctor? Because the doctors is going to help me get where I want to be. Or
But
maybe
here's the way to do it all the time, Mike. If you would just always say this in your mind, my mentor used to beat me up on this all the time. He would say, have you ever seen that, that there's windshield wipers now where you can actually do what is called a time delay?
Mhm.
You know? And he says, is there any way that you could use that with your mind and your mouth? And I went, what? And he's going, just put a little delay in there. So the first thought you should have is what you would say to them, but then just take a second and go, if I was them and I said that, what would be my response? And you'd realize that you'd lose them right away. So if you said to them, are you really a fucking doctor? That might not be a good way to start out the conversation. See what I mean? And so like her brother is, did he have cancer and he no longer has cancer?
Right.
I would love that doctor that he has. You see his point of view? He thought at one time that he was going to die. And now he thinks better. And this guy helped him. Now, whether it was the wrong stuff that we think, whether it's chemotherapy and radiation and all the crazy stuff, but yet you got to look at his opinion about that doctor, because not all doctors are bad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I do know doctors that will follow a procedure, and for whatever reason, we all know that we all have different DNA. We're all unique, and it is amazing to me that a treatment that they do to one person, will make them cancer free, and they use the same treatment on somebody else, and they're dead in 2 weeks. It's pretty radical how the body works. But believe it or not, do you know that that's how glutathione got figured out? So if you're listening to Mike,
He doesn't want to listen to a word I say, Robert. It's just his way or the highway.
but it's you're his sister.
Yes, baby sister.
Right. So you're way too close. He
Yeah.
knows way too much. And so the only way that you can get to someone like that, if you felt like you're going to get to someone like that, is, believe it or not, in the past of me doing this for 39 years, I would rather trick him into using the product or trick him into the business. And how I would do it is by using somebody else. I would think who does my brother look up to? If there was anybody that would call him up and he said that he was doing something, the guy would just automatically go, I'm doing it. See, because there are these people that have some incredible influence and people look up to them. Like I brought up about that Rick Belger. When Rick Belger got in, he went straight to the top of the comp line. I've never seen anyone get there that fast. And it was because of his last name. It was he was calling people that did business with his dad and his uncle. You know, that's where all the people that we knew in that arena was. So he was calling them up and going, "Hey, this is Rick, Jim's son." Yeah. It's like, how long have you done insurance for my father? 40 years. Well, listen, I have this idea in this company I want to run by you. Isn't that cheating? That's cheating. No, it's not. It's just he had a father and an uncle that had that kind of influence. And so it was really easy for him to get people to look at it because they're going like, the last thing I need to do is have this kid tell his father and his uncle that I wouldn't give him the time today when I'm making money off of them. So they wanted to keep the business going, right? And so that's the first thing that I would think. I would think about someone that he looked up to, and believe it or not, some people are ungottable. They're never going to get them. And it doesn't make a difference what you do. But I would think of somebody that I could approach, that when that person approached them, now it's an expert from afar. And you guys have heard me always say that. So if there's someone that I really cared about, that I wanted on the product, and I really wanted them to get into the business because I just know they would blow it up, that's the way you got to think. You got to think about someone that you could approach, that when that person approached, right? And I know this sounds funny, but I would think about approaching his doctor.
Interesting.
See, that's how you think outside the box, is you just say, I know this won't work, so I just say it out loud. You know, what is a way that I could get to this person? Can you imagine? So that's where you imagine, right? That's where you put it out in the universe. So imagine your brother calling you about Immunical. That would be freaking crazy, wouldn't it?
It would.
And then when he goes, what do you mean? You're already in this? Yeah, who told you about it? Well, my doctor told me about it. Yeah, he's in my group.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like
Makes
that?
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Mike, what I would say when you're changing doctors, I just say to them, it's very, very important to me that I first want you to know that I wouldn't even be talking to you if I didn't respect you. You getting your degree, you being a doctor, you being a referral from whoever, I just need you to know that I really respect you. Now, I know probably the thing that you hate most is people that are not doctors telling you about the ways they want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need you to know that I would like to be open enough to have that kind of conversation with you. That if there's, because this is my goal. My goal is not to be taking any medications. So I just need you to know that, are you the kind of doctor that would be open to that? Now, he wants to make money and he wants a new client. So he's going to say yes. And now you get to remind him about it for the rest of his life.
Right.
See what I mean?
Yep.
When I first met you and we talked about me being, one of your patients, I asked you if you would be open to looking at some things that could possibly help me and my wife. Can I send you a product, show you a link? I'll send you a link where this product's in the PDR, the physician's desk reference. And there is a best-selling author of a book that is saying that this product is what people should be using. Would you be open if I sent you a video of this guy educating other doctors on this product? Because I need to be honest with you. I watched it and they were talking about stuff I don't understand.
You know, Robert, I've never had a doctor say to me, "Do you know what your glutathione level is?"
Never,
Never.
never, 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 never.
I know.
Never. Never. But I know most doctors know
Yeah.
that new things are coming up all the time, right? If you talk to doctors now because of AI, there's one group that don't want to change, and there's another group that's so freaking excited that they believe that in one day they'll be able to, within minutes, really diagnose what the problem is. Because if you're a good doctor, can you guys imagine this? You're a good doctor. And all the things that you know to do and all the tests that you know to do, you have to go back to the patient and we'll go, we don't have a clue.
Right.
We don't have a clue. The times that her father was in the hospital before he passed away, man, you can get pissed so fast. Because why are you doing this and why are you doing this and they don't know. It's a like they say, it's a practice. They're doing the best they can. It doesn't mean that they don't care, but it's like, okay, I really don't have a lot of time to spend with a lot of patients, and this is your diagnosis and this is what we're going to do. And of course, when you're on Medicare and Medicaid and you're also a veteran, it's like you have no say so. This is what we're doing to you.
Sad but true.
It's like, listen, I don't have any choice. It's like, listen, you're a veteran. Yeah, this is what you're doing. Like, well, I don't want to do that. Then you don't have to come here. Well, I'd like to go to another doctor. Then it's coming out of your pocket. It's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So did that help both of you guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
And actually, in 2 months, I have a appointment with my blood doctor, who's pretty cool. And I've brought other things up to him in the past, and he's all ears. He's had me send him information. He said, I never heard of that. And so I'm going to hit him up on this one because he deals with cancer patients all day long.
Here's two things that you guys will love hearing about doctors, right? So if you could ask a doctor what makes a doctor elite, right? All right. One is a published paper.
Yeah.
See, people don't know about this, but you'll notice doctors will say this. It's like, I'm doctor. They put it in there. No, they put, I'm a published doctor. Ooh, shit. You actually did some research, wrote a paper, and they researched it and published it. See, they'll actually say that before their name. I'm a published doctor. Well, do you guys realize that Dr. Gutman is a best-selling author / doctor? There's not a doctor on the frickin' planet that wouldn't want to be known as a best-selling author.
Right.
/ expert on glutathione. See, any doctor would be like to be known as a published doctor / renowned expert on any subject.
Yeah.
So it's always funny when you guys see like Mary Beth and Mandy entering him, right? So Dr. Gutman is not only the renowned expert on glutathione, he's a best-selling author. He's got published clinical studies. And what else? You know what I mean? He's good enough to be hired by a $200 million a year company as their scientific advisor. Damn it.
Yeah.
If you're a doctor, you're like, Ah, shit. So going back to Sandy, it's like when you hear about this Dr. Gutman and they introduce him, a doctor's going like, yeah, it pretty much kicks my ass. That, another thing, of course, if they're a surgeon, right, to have a procedure named after you. So if you ask yourself, you're a doctor, what kind of doctor do you look up to? Because their egos are egos, right? But doctors that actually figure out shit and get a Nobel Prize, right? So those two doctors that you see on the slide, when Mike talked about it, those two doctors won a Nobel Prize for figuring out that people with low glutathione levels don't recover very fast from surgery. And now, what do they do? Hey, you got to come in for surgery, Trish. Okay, excuse me. This is what I need you to do.
I gotta hit up some plastic surgeons.
This is what I need you to do. This is what I need you to do to make sure that your body's not stressed and your immune system is really powerful before we do this surgery. Isn't it crazy? It's
Yeah.
like, but there's not a doctor on the planet. Well, I'd say that's wrong. But there's probably not, I never even thought about it. I'm looking at some people posting here. I can guarantee you the about page on glutathione.org might be pretty powerful. If it's a page that he created, and it's like, well, why should I listen to this ass clown? You know what I mean? Well, click on about and start reading the stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. So,
I don't understand why nobody wants to help themselves. That's what I don't understand.
I'll tell you what it is, Trish. There's things that you have said no to that would have bettered your life.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
We do not, we're rebellious by nature.
Yep, you're right.
Creatures of habit.
And we're also competitive by nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last thing I need is for you to be able to make me aware of how stupid I am.
Well, that's how you look at it. Yeah.
That's the way we
No, I
think.
get it.
So when someone's excited and they go, "Hey, Trisha, you got a second?" Yeah. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell you this. Your first initial instinct is no, because their energy and their enthusiasm, everything's higher than yours when they first connected with you. So have you guys even seen this with comedians or whatever, or you go to watch somebody at a church and all of a sudden the people of the church, Terry and I watched some documentary about one of the housewives of Salt Lake City.
She's a pastor and not a good one.
But as soon as they're doing worship music and they're praying and everyone's jumping around, right? Our first response is not, "Oh my God, I'd love to be touched by God like that." No, our first thought is, "Look at that idiot." You see, it's like there's no music that could play to get me to act like that. See what I mean? And it's just us being human.
You're
It's
right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So when people respond, I always say, my mentor used to beat me on this one, and I'll let you guys go. And it's not true all the time. So I'm not telling you to measure your standards this way. But when people say no, what if you always evaluate it as, I didn't think enough on how to approach them right?
Yeah.
See, I now know that, there are some people that will always be at the wrong place at the wrong time. They're just not the right people. But you get really, really good at connecting with people when you always think, could I have done that better? Could I approach them in a different way? Maybe I didn't think on the best way to get them. And so
I'm not giving up.
Never, never,
Yeah, I
never,
know.
never. But you guys can reach out to me anytime when you're saying, listen, I have this one person that I'm scared to connect with. And just ask yourself, just be out of the box a little bit to go, I wonder the right way to approach a person. And
Mhm.
get this, sometimes the most humble way, Trish, is this. Hey, Trish, do you got a second? Yeah. If someone was going to approach you with a business idea, what would be the best way? It's like you're asking them what would be the best way to approach them. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it
But
is.
no, we ask somebody else what we think they should say, and then they give us a script or a little black book, which is a bunch of bullshit. And then we go get that script or that black book, and then we use it, and that didn't work. So now, if we believe the person that gave us that script or gave us that black book of scripts, if we think they're successful and we don't know if they are, now we're using what we believe they used to become successful. And we used it and it didn't work. So now there's only one person to blame. I suck at this. Isn't that crazy? We go, wow, they said this is a script you should use. So then I go out and use that script, not treating people as individuals. And then I use that script and they say no. And I'm thinking, well, the person that gave me the script is successful. So I must just suck at this.
I'm my worst enemy.
We all are. We
Yeah.
all are, Trish.
Mine too.
So I love you too. I love you too. Thank you very much. And
Thanks, Robert.
I love your guys' interaction. You can definitely tell you guys love each other. You're definitely, yeah,
Or tolerate each other.
tolerate each other. Yeah, just like
Yeah, thank you.
my at least Mike points. Terry hits me all the time. So it's like,
Like that?
yeah. So Craig, close it up. Thank you, Shelley, Gordon, Michael, Angela, Donald, Matthew, Hannah, Ezra, Melody, Star, Dustin, Eric, Jane. Thank you very much, Mary, Coach Bob, Esther. Great to have you on here, Esther. I see Esther and she just makes me light up. She's so full of love. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Mike and Trish. And CJ.
Wow,
Yes,
what a
definitely.
great daily wisdom. I hope everybody got something out of it. There's a lot in here for everybody. I posted a lot of links in the chat, so go ahead and download the meeting chat. Very, very simple to do. Click on the three dots in the meeting chat and then click on Save Chat when you download it to the, and it'll download to your computer once we finish. If you're watching us and you didn't watch us live, don't worry. It's at the bottom of the video that we post in the classroom for Daily Wisdom. Go to that classroom, Daily Wisdom, and it'll be there below the video. So that's where we put all of the things that we share here on these videos. Upcoming events here. Oh my gosh, we got another Daily Wisdom tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. It's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Now we've got a new thing tomorrow. Get ready at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern for Outwitting the Devil. It's going to be a class where we're going to all be involved along with Dana Scranton. So you want to be here to join us. The link is in the calendar. Please join us. We'll also post it in the Unlimited Wisdom page there tomorrow or later today. Well, tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow morning. Easier that way. Then don't forget, Thursdays are breakthroughs, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. That's part of our premium package. Also part of our premium package. No, it's not a premium star. Tomorrow's Outwitting the Devil is not a premium. I'm assuming that's what you mean by that question. Very good. Thank you so much. So tomorrow, is a premium. I mean, Thursday's a premium with the breakthroughs. That's at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. We have another daily daily wisdom on Friday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Then at 2 p.m. Pacific, 3 Eastern is the Imagination Hour, part of our premium package. Join us as Matt Hollis takes us through the world of AI and helping to get us to the next level and understanding what is going on in the world of technology. Saturday, Ask Us Anything, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, and that is also part of the premium package. Sunday, everybody's open for Master's Mind, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Monday, of course, recess, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. So every single day we got something for you. That's what being part of Unlimited Wisdom is all about. Love and appreciate each one of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And since we did have a lot going on today, I'm just going to go ahead and unmute so we can all say so long and have a great day. There we go. See you all. See you
Bye.
soon.
Long, everybody. Love
Thank you,
all.
Robert and Terry. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Love and
Great day.
appreciate you.
Have a
Talk to you
great
too soon.
day.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.